Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make the daisy top. Here's the materials you'll need, as well as the abbreviations you'll need to know to follow along with the written part of this pattern. So now let's get started. So holding your yarn like you're about to crochet, put your hook in the inside and twist it, and then yarn over and pull through, and this creates our slip knot. And now we're going to create a chain of 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to go to the first stitch, the first chain that we created. Put your hook into it, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then go right into the last loop on your hook. This is how we're going to be creating our magic circle. And then we're going to chain 3. This counts as a double crochet. And now place another double crochet back into the space of the circle we created. So let's yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through, oops. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now you're going to put 14 more double crochets into the round. So we'll have 16 total, and that's including the chain 3 we did at the beginning because it counts as a double crochet. Once you have all of your double crochets, then we're going to slip stitch back into the chain. So here's the chain that counts as a double crochet. We have 1, 2, 3 chains in the third chain. So here's 1, 2, and here's the third chain. You're going to go into the third chain, go through 2 of the loops, then yarn over, pull up a loop, and then pull through the last loop. And now for the next row, chain up 3. This is our first double crochet, and then chain up 2 more for a chain 2. Okay, so here's where we are. We're going to skip the next double crochet. So here, skip this one, and in the space between the double crochets, we're going to double crochet. And then place 3 double crochets into that space. Chain up 2. Now you're going to skip 2 double crochets. So skip this one and this next one, and in this space, place a double crochet. Now repeat this until there's 8 total 3 double crochet clusters. Once you're at the end, chain up 2, and you're going to skip this first double crochet as normal, and then the next one. And you see we're back at the chain we created. Remember that this counts as a double crochet. So you're going to come into this final space here and place 2 double crochets. And then slip stitch into the third chain here. So we have 1, 2, 3. So this is the one you'll slip stitch into. For this next row, chain up 2 and do not turn your work. We're going to be going in the same direction as the chain 5 from the previous row. So our chain 2 counts as a half double crochet. So now we're going to go into the chain 2 space here and place 5 double crochets. So let's yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Once you have 5 double crochets, you're going to do 1 half double crochet into the same space. So let's yarn over, pull through 3. And now we're going to go directly to the next chain 2 space and place a half double crochet and then 5 double crochets. And then you'll place one last half double crochet into the space and repeat that for each chain 2 space. When you get to the end of the row, you're going to slip stitch into the chain 2 that you made. So here's one chain, and then here's the second, and go into that and slip stitch. Now chain up 2, turn your work, and we're going to chain an additional 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to go into this space here between the 2 half double crochets. So go into it and place 1 double crochet. Then chain 5 and place another double crochet back into that same space. Now chain 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to go into the next space between the two half double crochets and place a half double crochet there. So let's yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 3, chain 5 again, and in the next space we'll place 1 double crochet, chain 5, 1 double crochet, and repeat this pattern until you reach the end. When you get to the end of the round, place a slip stitch into the second chain from the bottom. Now chain up 3 and turn your work. This chain 3 counts as a double crochet, so we're going to do 4 more double crochets, 1 into each of these chains. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now chain up 1, and into this space we're going to do 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Now chain up 3 and place 3 more double crochets into that same space to make the corner. Now chain up 1 and place 5 double crochets into the space, 1 in each chain. There's 1, 2, now chain up 1, and into the next 5 chains we're going to do 1 double crochet into each chain, and we're going to repeat this. So 5 double crochets, chain 1, and then when you get to a corner, 3 double crochets, chain 3, 3 double crochets, followed by chain 1, 5 double crochets, chain 1, 5 double crochets, and so on. When you reach the end, chain up 1 and slip stitch into the 3rd chain, and then you can chain up 1 again, cut your work, and you're done. So you'll do the rest of your granny squares like this. Once you have enough squares to wrap a bit over halfway around your body, now we're going to slip stitch them together. So you're going to face all your squares so the wrong side is facing up, and then fold one square over the other so the right sides are on the outside, and hold them together. Take your yarn and loop it over, and then we'll go into this first chain, this last chain here, go into the loop, do the same on the next panel, pull your yarn through, and then chain up 1. And now we're going to slip stitch across. So go through the front loop of the first square, and then go through the back loop of the first square, and then the front loop of the second square. And then yarn over, pull through, and pull through. So you'll go through the back loop here, and then on the next one, you'll go through the front loop. Once you get to the end, you chain up 1, and then you'll cut your yarn. And now repeat these steps for to do the next panels. Instead of flipping it over like this, which will put the seam on the wrong side, you'll hold them together like this and pick it up. All right, so now I'm done. I ended up changing it to 3 squares. Count up the number of stitches you have on the side, starting from the second chain here in the chain 3, so the second one here, and you'll count all the way to the last second chain and see how many stitches that is. We're going to want it in multiples of 4, but you need to know this because now we're going to start making the top part for the bust. And if your bust is larger than your waist, you're going to have more stitches here for the bust, and you'll have to decrease to the number of stitches here for your waist. And it's like that for me. So I'm going to create a foundation chain for my bust, and Once you create your slip knot, make a chain that is wide enough to cover your bust, and you want it to end at the end of each armpit. Now count the number of stitches in the granny squares that you slip stitch together. This will only be a rough estimate of how many stitches there are because there's about 2 extra stitches between each square, so you can't count the exact number. Then you'll want to count the number of stitches in the chain that you just created, and if the chain has many more stitches compared to the granny squares, then you'll want to decrease as we make the bodice longer. Once you have enough chains to wrap around your bust, make sure you have an even number, and then chain up 2. This does not count as a double crochet. And then we'll go into the 3rd chain from our hook. So 1, 2, 3 in this chain. We're going to double crochet. Once you do 1 double crochet, in the next chain, single crochet. In the next chain, double crochet. And then single crochet. Repeat this pattern until you reach the end of the chain. To get to the end, you should have ended on a double crochet. So then you'll chain up 1, turn your work, and in the first stitch, you'll place a single crochet on top of the double crochet. And then in the next stitch, you'll place a double crochet, and then the next single crochet. This will make it so every double crochet stitch has a single crochet on top of it, and vice versa. And now you'll just repeat these 2 rows of alternating between single crochet and double crochet until this is long enough to cover your bust. Once your top part is wide enough, then we'll leave the yarn attached and slip stitch the granny squares to it. You want to make sure that when you slip stitch it, you have the seams here for the granny squares facing on the outside. So when you flip it over, you see it here so that all the seams will be on the same side. So we'll chain up 1 as a turning chain and go into the 2nd chain here in the corner, and then the front loops, and slip stitch this together just like we did the granny squares. When you get to the end of your slip stitches, chain up 1, and then you can cut your yarn and just pull it through. I'm at the end of my yarn, so I'm just going to leave it like that. Now we're going to reattach our yarn on one of the top ends and then single crochet all the way around the side, bottom, and then the next side until you reach the next top corner. and make sure the left and right side have an equal number of stitches. When you get to the end of your single crochets, chain up 1, turn your work, count your stitches on both sides and make sure that they're even or the same number on each side. And in this first stitch, we're going to place a half double crochet. So that is yarn over, go into the stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 3, and then half double crochet in the next stitch as well. Then chain up 2, skip 2 stitches, and in the third, half double crochet. In the next one, half double crochet, and in the third, half double crochet. Chain up 2, skip 2 stitches, and in the third, double crochet, half double crochet into the next 3 stitches. And repeat this until you get to the bottom side. So now I'm at the end of the side, and you see that I have one more stitch left here on the side. Right here, this is the last stitch of the side, because this middle one of the corner of the granny square, that is the start of the bottom. So I'm just going to chain up 1 and skip this. If you ended with a half double crochet here on your last stitch, then there's no need to chain up 1, and you can just go straight into doing the scallop edge. So to do that, we're first going to start with a half shell. So I'm in the next stitch, I'm going to double crochet, place 3 double crochets into this 1 stitch, and then we skip 2, 1, 2, and in the third, single crochet, and then skip 2 again, and in the third, place 5 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip 2, and in the third, single crochet, and then skip 2 again, and in the third, 5 double crochets. And do this until you get to the next corner at the end. So now I'm at the end by the corner, and next I would do a single crochet right here, but I want to end it with a half shell like I did on the beginning side. So I'm just going to skip to the last stitch of the bottom at the corner here, and do my 3 double crochets. And now I'll do exactly what I did at the bottom of the other side, where I chained up 1, skipped 1, and then did 3 half double crochets. You want this side and the other one to be identical. So go up this exactly as you did on the other side. And once you get to the end of the row, you can just chain up one and cut your yarn. Now to do the ruching, you're going to take a short piece of yarn and weave it through your darning needle, and then scrunch the bodice together down the middle, then weave the darning needle in and out the rows so that it has that scrunched look, and you'll pull the yarn through. Then just tie it in a knot and clip the ends. Now make a slip knot and chain 300 or about 90 inches for the back lacing. Once your chains are long enough, chain 2 extra chains and then yarn over, and in the third chain, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, you'll place a half double crochet. So that's yarn over, pull through all 3. And you'll do 3 half double crochets. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Chain up 2, skip 2, and in the third, you're going to do 3 half double crochets in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. And now you're going to repeat this pattern, chain 2, skip 2, 3 half double crochets until you reach the end of the chain. Once you finish the strap, chain up 1, cut your yarn, and weave in these ends. Now to lace up the back, I go into the first hole from the top to the bottom on each side, and I'm going to be skipping 1 hole in between each lacing. So I'm going to go into the third hole now from under, and then next I'll go in over, and then skipping 1 each time, I go in under next until I get to the end. Then you can tie it into a bow and you're done. These straps are optional, but if you would like them, then put on any top you own that has straps, and then put on this on top of it, and place markers where the straps are. Make sure the stitch markers are placed evenly so they're the same amount of stitches from the end. Reattach your yarn where the stitch marker is, so chain up 1 and then single crochet into that same spot, and then make a chain that's the same length as the strap on the shirt that you had used to measure the placement of the straps, or you can use like a bra strap as a reference and just chain until it's that length. Once the strap is long enough, attach it to right before where the back lacing is. So I'll put it in right here, and then just single crochet to connect the straps. And now I'm going to end with a slip stitch as well. Then chain up 1 and cut the yarn. Now just weave in all of your ends and you're done.